Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out, episode number 66. This weekly show is meant to demystify technology as much as I aim to celebrate it. So you can put away that geek to English dictionary, you won't need it here. We do have a great show planned for you this hour. In a moment from now, we'll talk with ViewSonic about what's new in monitors and projectors. We'll learn about wireless charging this hour, like really wireless, where you don't need to place your phone down on a charging mat. And we're going to talk about VR, AR, MR, and XR later on in this show. You probably know about virtual reality and augmented reality, but what's XR and MR? You'll find out. All right, let's kick things off. When it comes to monitors and projectors, there's one company that's been in this game for a long time, and that's ViewSonic. Now, you know them and their mascots, you know, the three multicolored birds, right? Well, I did want to invite them onto the show to chat about trends in display solutions and where we're going in the near future. We're privileged to have on the line Jeff Volpe. He is the president of ViewSonic for the Americas. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Thank you, Mark. Wonderful to be here.
Now, I said you're the president of ViewSonic for the Americas, but to clarify, ViewSonic is an American company, but you do have worldwide distribution, correct?
We are indeed a global footprint company. We're excited to have a wonderful position here in the U.S. and the rest of North and South America and throughout the world. We do business in well over 100 countries, have been in business for the last 35 years, and very excited to talk to you today about recent innovations.
All right. Wow. So 35 years in the display solution space, I guess primarily monitors, and then more recent than that would be projectors, an extension of that perhaps. So what would separate, before we talk about actual products, what would separate ViewSonic from the rest of the display makers out there?
Well, there's so much that we do that really makes us unique. We have been a very customer-centric and market-centric company. Even though our products are constantly winning awards, we're definitely customer-centric, and I think that our relationships with our partners and our customers proves in a great deal that we do separate from a lot of other brands in that we're very close to the voice of our customer. We take care of their needs, and we try to really build solutions and products to solve technology problems. And when you do little things to tweak your business and tweak your products to satisfy the customer's needs, then you do separate yourself. From a technological standpoint, we have a lot of development people that are always looking for ways to improve the performance of our displays, solutions to help enhance the output of people's efforts. So we try to drive that performance message in our partnerships and in our delivery of our services as well as our products. So it's not just a technology brand. It's truly a solutions brand that is taking into account the customers and their needs.
Right. With that in mind, I know you've got monitors for regular computer use. You've got monitors for gamers. You've got your business division, even academia, like school boards choosing ViewSonic. So needless to say, you are tailoring the specific SKUs to a certain vertical.
We indeed think about broad-based solutions. We have 100 different monitor SKUs for the desktop, as well as a number of our new interactive screens that go on the wall for more solutions. So wow. Yes, you're indeed right. It's we have to do some customization, and we have to think about different verticals in a unique way.
Yeah, interesting. All right, Jeff. So when it comes to monitors, what are some of the biggest trends that you're seeing today for both work and play?
There is some similar themes in evolution. We see the majority of people wanting to increase the size of the monitor that they're looking at. That combines with a higher expectation of resolution. So we're seeing curved 4K 38-inch monitors as being something that you can purchase for your desktop today.
Wow.
We also see an increase in refresh rates, which for the gamers and entertainment verticals and consumers, that really enhances their enjoyment of entertainment and gaming because there's no lag or jitter monitors as they're playing their games or watching movies. So we're seeing 4K, large size, thin bezel, edge-to-edge glass. On the consumer side, we're seeing obviously a important part of the refresh rates. On the business side, we see two things becoming a little more popular than we anticipated, which is color accuracy. And our products now have the ability to have truly accurate colors that fit into a business environment. And lastly, ergonomics. There's a tremendous amount of focus on wellness and ergonomics in terms of screen height adjustments, tilt and swivel, all making the work environment more amenable to people who are sitting at their desks for a long period of time.
We've been seeing an increased focus on that, and I think that's important. As we are sitting in front of these devices for extended periods of time, there's been a lot of work going into the science of comfort and the human body and how we should be best integrating with technology. So it's interesting to hear that is a focus for ViewSonic.
Indeed. Ergonomics, both in your posture as well as eye strain, in terms of the settings that you can achieve with the new monitors through our menu system.
We're chatting with Jeff Volpe. He is the president of ViewSonic for the Americas. We're chatting about trends in display solutions. We just chatted about monitors. Now let's shift and talk about projectors. What's new in that space?
It is evolving as a technology. We see a number of new advancements in the processing power in the chips that allow us to do some fun new things. A couple things we see is a multiple array of things all at once. So we're seeing color accuracy with Rec 709, which is an industry standard for high levels of color gamma, that's making its way into consumer-priced products. So now in the home, one of the trends is that you get a nice portable-sized product that can deliver 4K and high-quality color for $1,000. And this is an unforeseen shift that I don't think many people would have anticipated. And it's really exciting for people who are enjoying home theater or want to have a large screen in their outdoor campsites or backyard, etc. So that's one trend that we're seeing is really true good home theater at a low cost. The other thing we're seeing is lampless and laser technology, which is improving the life of the lamp or life of the usable use of the projector. People would have to, in the past, change their lamps in about 4,000 hours. Now, with some of the new technology coming out, we're talking about 30,000 hours of operation, which is rivaling a normal TV that you would put on the wall. So there's a significant amount of change, and that positively affects capital costs for consumers as well as for businesses and education in the projection space. So we're seeing brightness increase. Now you're talking about a standard that's above 3,000 lumens for most of our projectors and increasing even more. And resolution increasing, as well as all sorts of different kinds of connectivity that allow people to enjoy a large screen projection space. Lastly, and not least, I got to tell you about our one product, which is called the M1. It's a small product, just a little bit bigger than a cigarette package, and it's delivering incredible front-of-screen performance. It includes a battery, so you can take it wherever you need to and have a nice portable meeting or portable movie session with your family.
From the boardroom to the family room. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or to the backyard.
Or to the backyard for nighttime movie viewing against the wall in the fall. Love it. Now, would you say, so you touched on a few trends, better resolution. 4K is 4 times the resolution of HD, 1080p HD.
Yes.
Bigger screen sizes.
Very exciting.
Yep. Bigger screen sizes as well, whether it's a monitor or a projector. And more connectivity options. Those seem to be the 3 big trends. So now let's end off on where you see ViewSonic and the industry going over the next, say, 5 years. Let's share us, if you will, your roadmap for ViewSonic.
Well, I'd love to share publicly the roadmaps, but there are some restrictions on what I can tell you. But I think visionary-wise, one of the areas that we see growing is the whole office space facility shift to a much more open concept, much more collaboration mentality happening, particularly as the millennial group begins to hit the marketplace, it will be the largest workforce segment in the workforce by 2020. And companies and educators are seeing that there's a need for technology improvements in the workspace and the classroom space to facilitate huddle stations or classroom group learning, or just really productive environments for people to enjoy work and play and be more efficient. So we have invested a lot of time and energy in this technology idea, and we've produced a number of products called ViewBoard products, and those are products that are fully 20-point touch interactive screens that you would put on the wall, varying in sizes from 55 to 86 inches. And they allow you to connect and collaborate in a multiplicity of different kinds of environments, whether it's in the classroom or in business.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeff. Jeff Volpe, president of ViewSonic for the Americas. Website, of course, is viewsonic.com to learn more about their products and solutions. Thanks again for your time, Jeff.
Mark, thanks for having me on board.
Before we continue on with today's Tech It Out, a quick shout out to my sponsor. This program is powered by ASUS. ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life. For those in search of incredible, visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com/US/radio. We'll be right back.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. When I first heard about wireless charging a few years ago, I'll have to be honest with you, I was disappointed to learn that it meant laying your smartphone down on a pad. Sure, it's nice not to need a charging cable, but I thought, how cool would it be to walk into my home and my smartphone just starts charging up wirelessly so I can still carry it or use it? Well, a new technology called Y-Charge may really bring wireless charging to your home, your office, and commercial spaces in the months and years to come. To tell us all about it, we're joined on the line by Yuval Boger. He is the Chief Marketing Officer of Y-Charge. Welcome to the show, Yuval.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
I'm really excited to chat with you about this because it sounds like science fiction. So you've got to enlighten us. Let's dive right in. What is Y-Charge?
So Y-Charge is a technology company that delivers long-range wireless power. And as you mentioned, it's almost like magic, except it's not, right? It's sufficiently indistinguishable from magic, as they say. What we do is we can deliver enough power to charge a phone across a room or power smart devices, or basically deliver power to any device that uses batteries or uses a small power adapter. And that provides you with the opportunity to both have not have to worry about your device, right? Battery anxiety is a thing, right? We leave our homes and we say, when are we going to be able to charge our phone next? And so imagine if your phone just magically charged itself. That would be great. It also allows you to eliminate battery replacement if you have, for instance, a home security system. And once in a while you have to call service because you've got a low sensor battery. Well, that could be delivered wirelessly and you never have to replace a battery again. And the last thing that you could do with it is start imagining what would happen if you don't need to place devices next to a power outlet. So imagine a indoor security camera that you say, oh, I have to have it here because I need to route the wire. And imagine if you didn't. You would have all this freedom of where to place it, what to do with it, and potentially add new capabilities to it. So on a technical sense, Y-Charge delivers long-range wireless power. In other times, we say we deliver freedom.
So with it being called Y-Charge, as in Wi-Fi, does that imply that it uses some kind of Wi-Fi to wirelessly charge up a battery?
So we use infrared light. Infrared light ends up being a wonderful choice, both because we can deliver quite a lot of power in it, enough to charge a phone, and also because it's very safe. You know, infrared is natural light. 50% of the sun's energy is infrared. So you and I and our ancestors have been living for millions of years with infrared light around us. Unlike radio frequency that is sort of man-made radiation. So infrared light is safe. And the other really nice thing about infrared light is that it travels in a straight line. I mean, think about a laser pointer where you just have a thin beam of light that can go from one place to the other. Our technology uses infrared light. It's invisible, but it also is a very thin and focused beam that goes from the power source, our transmitter, to a small receiver that's embedded in the device. All the energy sent from the transmitter reaches the receiver, which means that none of the energy reaches anything else. You know, it's not going to affect your pets or your plants or not going to warm your plate of pasta.
But that implies then line of sight is needed. So I guess with my anecdote, when I just before I introduced you, I talked about having your phone in your hand or in your pocket. So it's not quite going to work like that. You still have to have it in one place so it can directly talk. Even though it's wirelessly, it has to directly talk to the transmitter.
So you might not have to have it in one place. Our technology can follow an object as it moves around. So if you have a toy train, for instance, that's riding on a track, such as some of our YouTube demos, then our power transmitter can just track it and deliver the energy to wherever it is. But you're right, we are not going to be able to charge a phone in your pocket. It's not that you can charge a phone in your pocket today, right? You can't fit your charging pad, or you don't want to carry a wire in your pocket anyway. But yes, there's going to need to be line of sight between the power source and the device receiving the energy.
Got it. All right. Why hasn't this been done before, or maybe not successful enough to the point that it will be commercially viable? I mean, it seems like it's, in theory, this is a great idea, but being 2018, shouldn't we have seen this already, or is it that hard to master?
It was certainly hard for us to master. I mean, we've been working on this since about 2011. And it involves solving a whole range of problems, you know, making sure that you can deliver that light from point to point with precision, making sure that you have efficient delivery so that a lot of the energy that's being sent actually gets converted into electrical energy on the other side. You have to make sure it's safe and get safety certification. So no one is concerned about having infrared beams in your house. The other reason that it took so long is that if you were to take a group of engineers, say in Silicon Valley, and say, well, you need to solve this, the first place they would turn to is radio frequency, because radio frequency, like radio waves, is well understood and in some ways is simpler. You don't have to have optics. You don't have to have a light source. But turns out that RF is just not a good choice. It travels wide, so it's not very efficient. It bathes the entire environment with energy. And the safety limits for RF are much worse than IR, meaning that with infrared, you can deliver much more energy safely than you could with radio frequency. So it's a combination of choosing the right technology and then solving a host of problems along the way.
We'll continue our chat with Why Charge when we return on Tech It Out. Stay with us.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out, with technology columnist, author, and TV personality, Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out, everyone. We're chatting with Yuval Boger. He is the CMO of YCharge. This technology lets you wirelessly charge up, say, a smartphone, but from across the room. How cool is that? Now, before the break, Yuval, we were talking about the safety of this technology. I had some questions and concerns surrounding that, and you assured us that YCharge is indeed safe and why. So now let's change gears. What do you need to get going for this to work? And is it only small devices like a phone that you can charge up? What about something like a laptop?
So today we focus on devices that are, I would say, up to several watts, 3 watts, 5 watts of power. So you can charge a phone, you could pretty much any battery-operated device, you could work with that. And by the way, when we talk about power, we're thinking about average power. So for instance, if you have, a motorized blind in your home and you said, well, I don't want to wire it to an electrical outlet, the motorized blind may take a lot of energy when it's operating, but it's operating only a couple of times a day. So we look not at the instantaneous energy requirement, but at the average energy requirement. Today, we don't deliver enough power for a notebook or a television or a Tesla. But we think there's so much opportunity and so many devices in the phone and game controller and alarm system and smart speaker and basically any smart device that we're going to start there and then see where we can go in the future.
We're chatting with Yuval Boger of YCharge. The name of the technology or the product line, I believe, is the same as the company itself, YCharge. That's WI-Charge. Certainly, there's a lot of buzz about this, Yuval, online. I was intrigued by one of the videos that I saw. But compared to a wired charge, would this take a lot longer to power up, say, a smartwatch or a smartphone?
The short answer is yes. It would take longer than a wired charge. But of course, wireless charging is much more convenient. And we trade speed or efficiency for convenience every day in our life, right? We use a mobile phone instead of a corded phone, even though a corded phone is nicer and more energy efficient. We use Wi-Fi instead of wired connections because we like the mobility of being able to travel around. Mm-hmm. So charging a phone or a smartwatch using wireless technology would be somewhat slower than wired, but you have to keep two things in mind. One is the convenience that we discussed, and the other is that you no longer have to think about managing the battery. I mean, today we one more task that we have in our daily lives is managing our batteries. And if your phone, for instance, or watch would just seem to charge itself, you no longer have to think about it. It's almost like water. I mean, once upon a time we had to go to a water well and fetch water for our homes. And today you just open the faucet, it's there, and it's there. You don't have to think about it anymore. Specifically to charge a phone, which is a question we get a lot, we see three ways to charge a phone using our technology. One way is that ultimately we believe that forward-thinking phone manufacturers would embed our technology in their phone, so it would just be part of the phone. The second way is today we have an external part. It's like a USB dongle that you can connect to a phone and use that to charge, and that could be built into a case or carried in your pocket. And thirdly, a lot of the modern phones, Apple, Samsung, Google, have pad charging, Qi charging.
Yep.
And we now have a way where we say, okay, here's a Qi charger, which means that you can use your existing phone and place it anywhere. But that Qi charger no longer has to be connected to the wall, but can be powered by YCharge. And that, for instance, is super advantageous for, say, a coffee shop environment, where even if you had charging tables installed, they need to be next to a wall. They need to be next to an outlet. And with our technology, all of a sudden you can charge anywhere, at any table. And you can do the same at a waiting room or a restaurant or a hotel lobby or anything like that.
Got it.
So lots of different ways to charge a phone using YCharge.
If a manufacturer wanted to embed that radio or that chip or receiver, maybe you can tell me what the proper name is, inside of their next generation phone, is it small or is it going to impact the size of these super thin smartphones today?
We think it's sufficiently small. I mean, you can compare it to the size of your camera module on the back of the phone. Okay. So it's not a pinpoint size, but it's small enough to fit into a phone.
Great. For those listening and are intrigued by YCharge, Yuval, tell us when we could expect this commercially and thoughts on price, or I know it's early, but anything that you can share with us at this point.
Sure. So what we do these days is we ship modules to manufacturers. Our business model is not to sell directly to consumers, but to work with, say, phone vendors or smart home companies and say, here is your solution to the wireless power delivery problem. So today we're shipping these modules to partners, and we started seeing some partners announce integrations, whether a smart lock or a light fixture and so on. There'll be many more partners in the coming months. And I expect that in 2019, next year, you'll start seeing consumer devices that have Y-Charge technology built into them.
Wow. Okay. So pretty soon. And again, it's not something that we're going to buy from Y-Charge directly, but hopefully some of the world's biggest consumer electronics companies will start embracing your technology. And hey, it could be here as early as 2019.
Absolutely. That's our hope, and that's what we're working towards. It could be a consumer electronic company. It could be a retail establishment. There are numerous applications. And to your earlier question about price, because we sell a module to a manufacturer, we let them define the end user price. But our goal is certainly to make this feasible cost-wise for consumer devices.
Okay. And then where could our listeners learn more about this technology if they wanted to check out some of those YouTube videos that you referenced earlier, or any other information about Y-Charge?
So there's a host of information on our site, ycharge.com. That's WICHARGE.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YChargeLTD. And between those, you'll find all the videos and blog and podcast, technical information that you'd want.
All right. Yuval Boger, thank you so much for your time. This sounds really exciting, and I appreciate you sharing this information with us.
Thank you, Mark. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Personally, I can't wait to see this with my own eyes and see if it really, really works. All right. Before we continue on with the show, a quick shout out to my sponsor. Tech It Out is powered by ASUS, creating technology for today and tomorrow's smart life. ASUS, for those in search of incredible. Visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com/US/radio. We'll be right back.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Check It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Hey, you're listening to Tech It Out. Thanks for joining us. You've heard of augmented reality and virtual reality, AR and VR. So what's XR? Joining us on the line to chat is Sam Jung. He's the CEO of Augmented Intelligence, and we have him on the line all the way from Taiwan. Welcome to the show, Sam.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you, Mark.
Likewise. So before we talk about this event, this group that brought you to Canada called XR Express TW, tell us what XR is exactly. What are we talking about here when we talk about virtual or augmented realities? What's XR?
Sure. So XR is like a combination of all three things. So we have AR, VR, and MR, stands for mixed reality. So it's kind of like a combination of all of them. Yeah.
So let's break that down. VR is when you put on a headset and you are digitally transported to another place. So you don't see the real world around you. AR, or augmented reality, is where you're looking through the world through your phone or maybe a headset, but you can still see the world around you, and there's digital information on top. Mixed reality seems to have different definitions depending on whom you ask, but it often includes the ability to move in your own space physically, and then it affects that digital world. Is that a fair way to describe those three?
Yeah, that's correct. And so some of the examples for the MR is like the new gadgets called the Magic Leap or the HoloLens. They have kind of like Google Glasses before, and they can project virtual images into the glasses and map into the real world. So I assume that most of people mentioned about the mixed reality.
Okay. So there's AR, VR, and MR. But now you're introducing another term called XR. Tell us what that means exactly and how it folds in the three different other kinds of experiences.
Okay, because the XR Express Taiwan is an organization that try to include in all those categories for the AR, VR, and XR into into one word. So it's kind of a new terms. They have kind of like they create this keyword and to create for the combination for these three categories into one. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what would an XR experience be like if it's combining the three?
We imagine that in the future, the when the technology is more mature, there could be some gadgets they can do things, in general. Like for example, like if you know the HTC Vive Pro, they also has the two cameras outside. They can also project the real world. So we imagine some of the gadgets, even for the VR, they will also have the capability doing the AR or the MR at the same time. So it's really possible that the new hardware coming out in the near future will have these three AR, VR, and MR capabilities at the same time.
But could you give us an example of something that you may experience with the combination of the three? Like, give us a scenario, a sample of what we're looking at maybe in the future.
Well, so my company is in the medical VR field, so I can give you an example about what this can be done in the medical field. So imagine, let's say we only have a VR headset right now. You couldn't see the outside world, right? So let's say if we open two of the cameras like the HTC Vive, and we can of course see the things. We can see the outside world. So let's say if we projected the outside world image is the virtual reality, then we can some sort of mapping these two images together to project in sort of like the AR or the MR capability. So the scenario is like if the surgeons, they are trying to simulate the brain surgery, for example. So in the traditional way for the VR is that the surgeon couldn't see the outside world, which means he or she couldn't see the patient. Right. So through this kind of simulation, it's kind of much more like immersive in environment. They couldn't interact with the patient. But let's say, what if there is another capability that I can open the camera and then I can suddenly see the patient. Then I can sort of like I can project, let's say, the patient's DICOM images, which means, let's say, in this case, it would be the brain surgeon. I can see the patient's tumor and then project it to the patient's head at the same time. Oh. So in the real world, I can see the patient with the like patient's skull and tumor at the same time. Wow. It's like a superpower for the Superman. He has the X-ray capability. They can see all things inside the skull. Yeah, there's something like that.
That's very cool. I get it. And I guess a surgeon can also see like a heads-up display, a HUD that maybe shows the patient's heart rate, blood pressure, oxygen levels also on his display that's virtually projected in front of him while he's operating to glance at, correct?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, that's a very good idea. Yeah, and very good scenario to put this.
Awesome. So tell us about your experience with XR Express TW. You were recently in Canada on the West Coast, I believe. It was a global summit.
Yeah, so there's an event called the AR and VR Global Summit in Vancouver just last week. And this event is for all the companies in the AR, VR, or the MR industry, and to showcase what they can do pretty much in the enterprise industries.
We'll continue our chat with Sam Jung when we return on Tech It Out. Stay with us.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
We're chatting with Sam Jung. He's the CEO of Augmented Intelligence. So tell us about the XR Express TW event in Vancouver.
So the XR Express Taiwan, they brought 5 startups, including us, from Taiwan to Vancouver to showcase what we do. There are the other 4 companies. They are doing like real estate industry and also doing the filming industry and the gaming industry. And we are doing the medical anatomy training and the surgery simulation stuff. So this event is quite interesting because we have the chance to meet to meet some of the like staff professors from the universities and to engage them with some potential projects that we can sort of creating the synergy between the from the corporation side and with the academia side.
So this event, you're able to network, you're able to meet other people in your field and other people doing different things with VR and AR and mixed reality. So it sounds like it was a good event. How far away do you think we are, Sam, from that scenario you painted for us at like the surgeon? Is this like 5 years away? Is it 2 years away or maybe a decade away?
Oh, I think it would be in the very near future, like probably in 2 to 3 years. As long as the hardware is getting better and better, which means that the hardware can be more compact, can be more smaller, with much more computation power. And also we are waiting for 5G, which can stream in higher bandwidth data from, let's say, from the cloud server to the AR, VR, or MR devices. Then I think there are lots of things can be done in the surgery simulation and also in other industries.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, 5G is the next gen in cellular connectivity that is said to have speeds as up to 100 times faster than what we have today. We'll see. We always hear these numbers that are bigger than they actually are, but still very exciting nonetheless. So you're saying a combination of new hardware, faster infrastructure like 5G, like the towers, and software experiences we need all those three things in order for this revolution to come.
Yeah, we are very excited to see that coming in the next year. I mean, especially for the 5G. And there are some huge corporations like the Amazon and also like Google or Microsoft. They are also trying to work things out, how to integrate with their cloud server with the 5G and to bring up the let's say you can have all the computation to be run in the cloud server. And that time it might be, I mean, for the audience, let's say if you only have a mobile phone, they might be able to, use some very good VR or AR contents on their mobile phones.
So all the computational power is in the cloud. It's on the back end. You won't need that kind of power with you locally, is what you're suggesting, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, very cool. All right, Sam, as we wrap up today, what website would you recommend for our listeners to visit to learn more about XR Express TW or Augmented Intelligence, your company?
Yeah, my company is called MAI.ai, which stands for Medical Augmented Intelligence, because what we are trying to do is to augment the medical intelligence through our technology. So if you are very interested about what, in the medical field, what the new technology for the medical visualization can bring to your life, you can go over our website. Again, it's mai.ai.
Sam Jung, I know it's very early for you. It's almost 4:30 in the morning. So I really appreciate your time and your expertise.
It's my pleasure.
Mine too. Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Hey, I hope you've been enjoying Tech It Out since the show, first a radio show, then podcast, debuted in July of 2017. As I mentioned off the top of the show, this is the 66th episode. If you do like it, feel free to tell a friend, a colleague, a family member about it and subscribe to the podcast. If you can, please leave a review of the podcast in iTunes or another platform. That goes a long way. And be sure to tell me what you would like to hear more of going forward on Tech It Out. Maybe you've got an idea for a product you'd like me to review or discuss, or have a guest that you would recommend me to chat with on the air. Maybe there's a cool app you'd like me to take a look at. Regardless, again, I'm at marksaltzman.com. That's Mark with a C, SALTZMAN. Or you can hit me up on Twitter at Mark_Saltzman. Thank you to my sponsor. This program is brought to you by ASUS, creating technology for today and tomorrow's smart life. ASUS, for those in search of incredible. Visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com/US/radio. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. We'll speak with you next time on Tech It Out. Ciao for now.